Retiring in our 20s is very different than retiring in our 60s. Those who are older may not be in the pink of their health, so I am hoping to capitalize on this and shed some light on how different retiring young can look like, instead of just traveling the world and relaxing every day. This is what I would do when I retire young in my 20s. I think one of the more important things to do if we retire young is to spend more time with our parents. Those who spend their whole lives working hard and retiring in their 60s means their parents are probably in their 90s and may be too old, or their parents may not be around to spend time with. Even now when I work from home, I don't see my parents that much because they are in the office, and when I'm working, I'm on the computer for hours in my room. So if you retire in your 20s, your parents may still be in their 50s to 60s, so they are more likely to be mobile and you can travel together as a family again. You never know when it will be the last time you're gonna travel with them. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Aaron. I make videos about my journey to financial independence. I'm 26 years old now, and I'm planning to retire in my 20s by living off my dividends. If you're interested to see me reach my goal, consider subscribing. Number 2 is living in a van. Essentially, you can travel around the world living in a van that you converted into a house. This may not be something people in their 60s are comfortable doing since it requires quite a lot of energy and patience. There's a Singaporean couple and a family who traveled from Europe to Singapore in their van, and their videos are on YouTube. So that got me inspired and makes me want to try that in the future as well. It could be really difficult, but it could also be a pretty exciting and life-changing experience. And if I were to do it, I better do it before I have children to take care of. Number 3 is to move to a country and make foreign friends. I've lived in Singapore all my life and only been to other countries as a tourist, so I don't really know what it's like to truly be living in another country for a long term. Singapore's visa-free entry to most countries is about 3 months long, so maybe next time I'll live in different countries every 3 months. I'm not sure cause it sounds like an administrative nightmare. Other Singaporeans have moved to Malaysia, Bali, Korea, but since I can stay in any country I want, I'll do number 4. Number 4 is to date foreign girls. This is also something someone in their 60s would probably never get a chance to do because hopefully they will be happily married for a long time by then. I think it will be an interesting experience and a new perspective, and I'll get to experience a lot of cultural differences as well. If I marry a local girl, it means I will never experience an international relationship ever in my life, so I want to try at least once in my life. It's a bit of FOMO, but it's also a unique experience for someone who is retired young and single, so sorry to those who are already attached, just kidding. And since I'll be living in another country, I can live in some place Singapore doesn't have, which are countrysides. Now I live beside busy roads and construction sites, so I hear drilling almost every other day. Just this morning on a holiday, I got woken up by the woo-woo bird. No choice, I have to start writing the script. Sometimes my mom even has to wear earmuffs at home to focus on her work. Something is always happening in Singapore, and there's no chance to ignore all of that. So I don't mind living in the countryside for a few months to see how a simple, quiet life is like. But eventually, I will probably move back to the city cause there's just more stuff to do and people to meet. Number 6 is to take up adventurous hobbies that you may not be able to do when you're old. For example, rock climbing, hiking, running, mountain biking. Obviously, you can do that even when you have a full-time job, but personally, I find it hard to pick up new hobbies because there's so many other goals that I want to achieve nowadays. Of course, you can still pick up less physical hobbies like photography, musical instruments. Oh yes, I also want to do a lot more drawings and pick up guitar and piano again. Now my guitar and piano has been collecting dust for many years already. Besides taking up adventurous hobbies, I also want to use this opportunity to be in the best shape of my life. I want to fully utilize the health and energy I have when I'm young. Even though I'm already exercising 7 days a week, I feel that I can do much more. One of my goals is to do an Ironman triathlon. That's a 3.9 km swim, 180k bike, and a full marathon. My goal is to complete that race under 9 hours. It takes about 16 to 20 hours a week of training, so that's why it's near impossible if someone has a full-time job. People have done it, but they have to wake up at 5 AM to make that time. Another goal is to run a marathon under 3 hours. My half marathon personal best is now 1 hour 21 minutes, just last year during Army Half Marathon. Usually athletes peak in their 30s and 40s, so I only have about a decade left for my body to be at its best shape of its life, so I want to try to push my fitness as much as I can. Besides that, I also want to cycle around Taiwan, Jeju, just to check that off the bucket list. The 8th thing I want to do is to learn how to cook. Eating out every day can be really expensive, and I don't really know how to cook anything else besides Maggi Mee. So I want to learn how to cook simple dishes that don't cost too much as well. And with the money I save, I can reinvest and buy nicer food next time. Number 9 is to find something that gives me joy, happiness, fulfillment, or whatever you want to call it. I just don't want to live like a fly on the wall, enjoying retirement and observing the world moving past me. If I can motivate, inspire, or even change someone's life to be a little bit more positive, I think that would give retirement a little bit more meaning instead of just chasing money and nice things. I haven't really thought of how I can do this yet, but it's always been something at the back of my mind. It doesn't have to be one of my side hustles or earn me money at all. One example is drawing portraits of my friends as their birthday present or as Christmas gifts. They are really grateful cause they could never buy that from anywhere else. But actually, it's because I don't want to spend money to buy presents. Just kidding. The 10th thing I want to do after retirement is self-improvement. So this can be learning new things like learning a new language, reading more books, or creating new daily habits that bring me closer to my goals. For example, I need to brush up on my Chinese so that next time I don't have to send my kids for Chinese tuition, which would save a lot of money. And even while doing that, I can pick up other languages too. Secondly, I want to spend less time on my phone, computer games, and Netflix. Because I'm on my computer for work and making YouTube videos, my eyesight is getting worse and worse. I heard that the average person spends a lot of time on their screens, so if you add that all up, it can save a lot of time in your life just by not using your devices so often. Third, I also want to start a side hustle. It doesn't really have to make me a lot of money. It's something that I want to do for fun and whenever I feel like it. It could just make enough money to treat myself or have some lifestyle inflation. Also, so that I have some buffer if my investments all crash during an economic recession. I would have another income source that could help me lighten the financial burden. One example of a side hustle is making YouTube videos. This channel isn't monetized yet. I need more watch time, so if you're interested in my retirement plan, you can watch this video here.